I shared an apartment with my cousin, Paul. It wasn't ideal, but the rent in my area wasn't low. I worked at a maintenance company while Paul was a columnist and writer. We led a normal life for guys our age. The only negative thing was that Paul smoked weed daily. He didn't buy from a dispensary, but through a guy named Chris Jones, whom he befriended. I knew Chris because we went to the same high school. He had anger issues that led to his expulsion and being sent to juvie. I told Paul about it, but he didn't care. He needed the weed to help him sleep, and he felt that Chris supplied him with great products. He argued that dispensary stuff was no good. Besides, he told me they got along well. On a Saturday morning, after my morning run, I found Paul and Chris in the apartment. I gave both of them a simple greeting and went to my room. I didn't want to get involved in illegal stuff. When I went out for lunch, I found both of them still in the living room playing games. I told them I was going out for lunch and invited them to join me. Paul rejected it and said he would go grocery shopping with Chris, and they would have something later. When I went home in the afternoon, I heard shouting inside the apartment. I rushed in and found Paul and Chris in a physical fight. Chris was holding a knife, stabbing Paul in the left chest. I also saw other blood spots on his clothes. I grabbed a baseball bat from behind the small table beside the door. I yelled, "What are you doing?" Chris turned around, waving his knife at me. He moved forward, and I swung the bat. He ducked and stabbed my shoulder. I felt pain and subconsciously back-swung the bat. It hit his right cheek. It wasn't a clean hit. He bumped into me and ran past me to go outside. I didn't go after him because I was worried about Paul's condition. I checked on Paul and found him on his last breath. I called the police, but Paul didn't make it. He died before the ambulance arrived. I saw the CCTV footage in our apartment. At noon, they went to the grocery store. Paul and Chris, seemingly inseparable friends, were sharing laughs and jokes as they returned from picking up groceries. As the clock struck 5:20 that afternoon, a cold shiver ran down my spine. Subsequent CCTV footage revealed the horrifying truth. Chris, driven by an inexplicable rage, thrust a hunting knife into Paul's chest. The motive was an argument because Paul had told one of his friends about Chris as his supplier. I couldn't grasp the sudden brutality, the switch from joy to an event that would alter lives forever. As seconds ticked away, the weight of reality settled upon us all. The police launched a relentless manhunt to bring Chris to justice. 2 days after the murder, a breakthrough occurred in the neighboring town. Chris was traced to a house. The bag found at the scene contained the evidence, the victim's blood. The manhunt's conclusion didn't bring solace to the grieving hearts. It merely marked the beginning of a different chapter. Chris's arrest brought closure to some, but for others, it opened a wound that time could never fully heal. Late one night, I woke up because my phone was ringing. It was Alex calling. I picked up, and he wanted to know if he could stay over at my place for the night. I said yes because I was alone at my grandparents' house while they were away on a cruise. About 30 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Alex stood there looking pale, so I asked him what was wrong. He explained that he was just tired and hadn't slept much. Alex had been away at college in a nearby town and had come back for a short visit. I heard he was involved in a fight just before returning home. And unfortunately, someone lost their life. Back in high school, we used to spend time together while he pursued college. I took a year off to heal from a football injury and work on myself, concentrating on physiotherapy and learning online. I asked if he needed anything because I was really sleepy. Seeing he was fine, I went back to sleep. In the morning, Alex asked if he could stay a few more nights because his parents were still upset with him. I said okay. We spent the whole morning talking about random things. After lunch, Alex left to have a conversation with his father. The next morning, there was a knock on the door. 2 police officers were looking for me and Alex. They told us that Sarah, who used to be Alex's girlfriend, had passed away, and they needed to talk to us about it. Sarah and Alex had an on and off relationship since he went to college, and she was in her last year of high school. We were taken to the sheriff's office. The detectives asked me some questions, but because I wasn't close to Sarah, I didn't know much. The questioning didn't take long, just under an hour. They said I could go, and next, they were going to question Alex. I told him to call me if he needed anything and then went home. After dinner, Alex came over and said he would stay the night but go back to his college dorm the next day. He shortened his holiday because his parents were upset, and he didn't feel comfortable staying with them. The next morning, as Alex packed his things, I saw a handgun in his bag. I asked him about it, and he said he kept it for safety. He was scared because of the incident where someone got killed, thinking the other people involved might be in a gang. I advised him to steer clear of any problems and concentrate on his studies, considering he was quite smart during high school. In the afternoon, detectives came looking for Alex. I told them he had left in the morning. They said they needed more information from him. That evening, I heard news about a shootout between gangs at a gas station in the nearby town, and 2 people were killed. Unfortunately, one of them was Alex. The authorities found a gun on him that matched the one used to kill Sarah. I was shocked. In less than a year, he had changed a lot. Getting involved with gangs and taking someone's life